are just above the middle, a couple lines above the middle of Lamed Gimel. The actual line is, yesterday we spoke the whole time to explain what it is. The line begins, Lidegili Klal. So we discussed the principle of Makif in general, Makif de Yosher and Makif de Oir Choser. And we were able to identify how the Makif, the Oir Yosher, is some kind of a hamshoch. Makif in general, we pointed out, is the overall reality of the mashpia. So therefore it is not something that comes into a keli. But in that itself there is oy yosher and oy choser. Oy yosher is that this reality of the mashpia is behamshoch. Behamshoch means that it is being supplied, it's being given to the mushpa in one way or the other.
Shlomo, Banda.
How come?
I don't know. Hi Shlomo, we're in the conference room.
I didn't hear anything. The beginning was we heard, and now it's
Went silent?
Went silent.
Okay.
I'm going to redial then. I'm going to redial.
IDT Connect. Please enter your conference ID followed by Welcome to the Luan Benoni's conference room. Please enter your password followed by the pound key. At the tone, please record your name followed by the pound key.
I'm a Paltiel.
Thank you. To have your participant number 3.
Shlomo, can you hear it now? Yes. Then there is Makiv. Okay, so Makiv.
So Mushpa is the Talmud, right?
One Talmud. Perhaps I should give a little bit more. I don't know how well we relate to these things, because again, we come from a world that is completely devoid of any reality. And the union from Hashpoah, Mashpia, Makabel, the Mashpia, he is Mashpia by the means of Seichel. And the means of Seichel means he actually breaks the idea down into individual points, and then by presenting all the various points, he presents his idea. But we have to understand that the idea that he is presenting is not built of these points. The idea is an essential truth that he perceives, that he knows. It's a life element. It's a godly element. It's a truth element that does not consist. It's not being built by these components. The components are only a means to present it in an arena where this thing is not known.
It is not known?
It's not known. Well, this principle is not known. It's not obvious. So we present it through the components, hoping, and not hoping, well, intending that then eventually from the components, by experiencing the components, the Makabel will actually rise up to sensing the real thing. Let's take again very concrete things, and we have to get to sense this in. You find a person in total disarray, a drunk lying in the gutter. And this man hasn't seen a normal human experience for years. But you look at him and you say, hey, this guy is a human being. I know that deep down he is craving for a human experience, for human life. And it could even be that right now, if you come to him and say, come, I'll give you a meal, he'll reject you. I'd rather be in the gutter. Know the story of the Rebbe. I'm going to be very brief because I'm sure you know the story. The Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, went out by request of his father to get mashke in the middle of the night. And he was walking around through the city, the streets, I think, in Moscow. In the middle of the night, they can't find mashke. He sees a drunk on the ground. Here's the story. And the drunk there was a half a bottle in front of him. So he says, "Show me the bottle. I'll pay you for the whole bottle." He says, "No, no." Then he said, I'll buy you a whole bunch, I'll buy you the whole store. Nothing. So he says, finally says, "Why not? Aren't you going to gain by this? If I do it?" So he says, "Hey, you're going to give me a whole store. With this bottle, I have a whole Moscow. I own all of Moscow." So he is in his fantasy, and he doesn't want to change. Okay. So how are you going to bring him back to the human race? Not going to start telling him, "Hey, you're a human being. This is not the way to behave." You're going to start with something that he can appreciate even in this particular state. For example, you'll give him a meal, a nice, hefty, hot meal, which he hasn't had for who knows how long. He was surviving on herring and mashke. And as he's eating the meal, you'll bring him a chair to sit down on. Chances are he hasn't sat on a chair for a long time. And with these experiences, slowly, he will begin to kind of come back to himself, and wake up, and begin to appreciate his human qualities, and be able to relate to them. These activities, a meal, sitting on a chair, putting on your shoes, whatever it is, these are all components. This is not what a human being is. The reason a human being sits on a chair, like we discuss all the time, is not because a chair makes a human being. On the contrary, the human being makes a chair. That element, that we say the human being, Meshachir, that deeper element, human element, that is something which cannot be fully expressed in words. Not only that, it cannot be fully understood in Seichel either. This is not something that can be developed from the world itself. This is something which exists because the Eibusher made a human being. Only the Eibusher can create such an entity. In the Mashpia, that's what's at Mashpia. From the teacher and Mashpia. A teacher, he teaches what is known. Mashpia means that he's actually bestowing part of his insight, part of his living seichel. In this hashpah, there are these two parts. There's a seichel, the means by which he is mashpia. Just like in the case of the drunk. Okay. He is giving him a meal, and he's giving him a chair. There is a great significance in this whole process in terms of influencing this drunk and the fact that it's a human being who is serving him this. It is not that he turns on, there's a meal in front of him, there's a chair next to him. There's great significance to that. What is the significance of that? Again, we shouldn't lose it. It's not that the significance is not that somebody cares about it. It is that this human being, really appreciates the significance of all the things that he is giving him. This is how a human being lives. So that along with all the components, he is giving him the makif. The makif is the revelation of the etzem, the essential truth in a revealed form, the makif. This is called makif. This makif cannot, again, this is beyond explanation, beyond expression. This makif is a direct reflection of essentially of the mashpia himself. In that itself, there are two levels. There's a makif de yosher and makif de chesed. Makif de yosher is, like we discussed, this is the human element, and this human element is expressed through all the components, all the aspects of the yosher, of the seichel that he's giving him. It remains makif. It remains something that cannot be fully expressed, but nevertheless, much of it is expressed. Like we're saying, it is definitely human to sit on a chair. And it's human to be clean. It's human to wear shoes. So the makif is also expressed. There is the pnimi, and some of it remains with makif, like we said over here. And then there is a makif de oir choizer, as we explained. Makif de oir choizer is where there is not when there is not a component element, Makiv Dechezer. There is not a component element via which it's being built up. Makiv Dechezer is actually presented in its totality. It's like coming to this drunk and hitting him over the head and scream at him, "Look what happened to you!" This is the Makiv Dechezer. And Dechezer, they hit him over the head. You idiot! What are you doing? Okay. So, in this Inyan, the Makif element, which means I say Makif is the Mashpia, the element of the Mashpia itself, or the source itself, does not express itself in any which way. Put it this way. If you come over to this drunk and scream at him, "You idiot, what are you doing? Are you acting humanly?" You're not acting humanly. You're like an animal yourself. What are you screaming at me for? Talk to me. Right? You don't talk. You scream and you insult. And you even hit. Wake him up. So in other words, the Inyan that you're trying to express, you're not expressing. It's a direct expression of yourself. It's not even, like I said, it's not even contained in the keli, in the human keli. Yes.
Saying that it's the makif, the chayzer of the mashpia, but it sounds like what you're doing is you're actually trying to awaken the kuda of the makabel. That he is his makif, in other words, his human quality by shocking him. He should kind of wake up and recognize his own humanity. Why do we call it the makif of the mashpia?
Because the mashpia has to reveal that. Let's say the mashpia says, "I can't act like this. This is not the way I act."
Who says this?
The mashpia. It's not going to happen.
You mean to hit him?
Sometimes you have to come right through from the essence, and the essence hits the essence. The real truth is, since we got to this, and I'm giving you this kind of an example, you can only do this if you really care about this guy. If it bothers you that in your realm there is something not clean, and that's why you're screaming, forget it. This is off the wall. This is not the way to do it. If you're really reaching the essence, then you have to sometimes you have to go to the makif, and you go down to the bare best basics. And I said, you're not even acting like a human being. And in that oil chayzer, there is the whole human being, not only a makif, the whole person, and the whole concern, the whole reality.
So it's the mashpia's essence that can get through to the Kabbal's essence.
Right.
Directly.
All right, let's continue on here. Okay, so this is only a line to explain what's contained in Torah. It says, perhaps we'll stay. It's okay. I'll go back 2 lines. The line begins b'pnimius. So makiv de yosher, much of it goes b'pnimius, and that which does not be expressed b'pnimius stays b'makiv. Avo makiv de yichayzer de mashpia, but the makiv de yichayzer of the mashpia who she'enei bo b'pchinas hamshoch klal. This is what is not in a state, it does not come, which means it cannot be expressed in a hamshocha form. Hamshocha means to draw away from its source and presenting it on the outside. Other Rab, on the contrary, who b'bchinas helem achar helem b'atzmus. It is deeply, deeply contained in the etzem, and it's called behelem. Behelem does not mean behelem that he doesn't know what he has, but it's not in an expressed form. And this helem achar helem, this essential element, cannot come in the gil. Klal at all. It does not, like we say in our terminology, it doesn't have components. There's no way you can put it into components. You cannot break it down into components and give it and serve it piecemeal.
This makif and the other makif, are they the same?
They are not. It's a much deeper makif. This is Helen. The other makif can be expressed in components to some degree.
So the makif that, when we say makif, expresses the reality, this is 2 different madrigas of reality that...
That's correct. The hamshocha that is present in this arena at this level, there has to be hamshocha. Otherwise, how is it nimshach to the mushpa? The hamshocha is ein b'bchinas gil. It is not in a gilui form. And we'll come back to this in a second. Kiyim, only sheba b'moshel v'chido. It expresses itself b'moshel v'chido. Expresses the moshel or a chido. Chido means a riddle, a guesswork. B'bchinas helem lagamri, in a helem form totally, where the gilu itself is not really gilu. As is discussed elsewhere. We could say, for example, if we want to can identify it in our moshel of the drunk, the real element that bothers you, for the fact that this drunk is in the gutter. It's not that he's not comfortable. He doesn't experience a human means of sleeping, human means of sitting and eating. What bothers you is that he does not experience, does not express his intellectual and emotional qualities. When you say to him, you are acting like a human being, yes, that's expressed in the form, in the lying in the gutter. But what you're referring to is something much completely different than not being in the gutter. He's not in the gutter, and he is sitting by a table, and he's sitting with both his hands, and he's fishing, filling up both cheeks. It's also not you, because what you are referring to, what you're trying to get him to realize is that he's got a spiritual part to him. A dog is also trained, what's called house training. So that makes him human.
So which words are you explaining right now? How Magamra?
Right. It's a muscle chida. It's not an allusion to the human.
What is when you give him the?
When you say to him, "Get up," why are you sitting in the gutter? This is not what bothers you. Leave me alone. Am I bothering you? Leave me alone. Okay? זה עניין. And thus, this is the Inyan, Mem B'Samach. Of the Mem B'Samach. Before I explained that this is talking about the oasis because they're through and through, but actually, here he's talking about the Mem versus the Samach. The Mem and the Samach have this similarity. He said the Mem Stuma means it's the sealed mem, the final mem. There is two mems, right? There's the open mem. The open mem has a means of being held up in engraving, because it has a bottom part where it connects to the stone. But mem stuma, it's a sealed door, so therefore that also has the same question: how does it stand? Nevertheless, there is a difference between mem and samach. The mem stuma, the sealed off mem, hu b'vchinas hisyashvus al kol ponim, has an element of hisyashvus. What does it mean? Has an element of hisyashvus. It is true that it stands up in S, but what is the difference between a mem and a samach? A mem, it's completely sealed off, but it has a form. It's not just a perfect circle. It has a form. It has a certain. It has the bottom is flat, for example. So it has something in allusion to a noise. So it has a certain hisyashvus. V'hainu b'bchinas makiv hayosor. This is the b'china of the makiv hayosor. Makiv that comes down, straight to be expressed in, as I said, in components. Sheyesh lo yachizo al kol ponim. that has an achizo, meaning there is something to grasp onto. Al kol ponim means even if it's a minimal amount, there is some achizo. The samach, but then the samach is a perfect circle. Hu she'enei b'bchinas yisyashvus klal. That does not have the quality of hisyashvus, of settling in. Hu b'chinas makiv de'oyer choyzev. This is the bechin of makiv de'oyer choyzev. She'enei b'bchinas hamshocha v'achizo klal. That does not, that this makiv is not bibchinas hamshocha, is not in a state of hamshocha, it remains with the source. And therefore there is nothing to grab onto. Again, both makif has to do with the source. There's a difference between the source expressing itself, showing I'm here, or staying in its place. Okay. Beis hamadreges yesh batoira. Both of these madreges, the mem b'samach, both madreges are present in Torah. And this is the principle that we said, that Torah has this element, besides that, despite the fact that Torah really is misyashiv in Chochmah, but it has the makif of Chochmah, the makif of the Yosher, and it has even the makif of the Yosher, the Yosher. The makif of the Yosher in Torah is contained in the Toichacha.
Makif of is contained in the Toichacha.
All right, so this is it for this morning. Have a good day.
The tzorich on afterwards, va'atem nitzavim. You're standing after it. The whole thing is still standing.
Yes. Yes, we do.
He's here. He just came out on the spring.
So he told me they might not be with us.
No, there is.